SmartFood Nutrition. Today I'm going to show you how to make my favorite chai tea. It just warms up your belly and makes you feel really great. I have here cinnamon sticks. This is Cinnamomum Cassia. Cinnamomum Cassia or Cassia cinnamon is not true cinnamon, which is Cinnamon verum. There's several different types of cinnamons, and we'll go into that. But then I have star anise, I have cardamom, I have about a tablespoon of cloves in addition to a tablespoon of cardamom. And I'm also, unusual for most chai teas, going to add in dandelion and add in burdock root. I also, because it's the holiday season, like to put in a little bit of orange peel. You can make your own dried orange peel if you want to make little sachets to save for later, or you can just pop in some fresh orange peel. And then I have some fresh ginger. Ginger is a really good antioxidant, and along with a lot of these other herbs can help improve your immune system. That's why it's a really great cool weather herb, because of the increased immunity, but also because it's warming, and a lot of these have warming properties, which is the warming and cooling properties is something that's more discussed in Ayurvedic or Chinese medicine. But we all are familiar with those ideas in the West when we talk about cold weather food, warm weather food. I want to warm up with a cup of hot tea. I want to talk to you a little bit today about cinnamon, because cinnamon is really unusual. This cinnamon that we mostly get in the grocery stores, it's cassia cinnamon. It's not true cinnamon. It's mostly grown in China. And I'm going to refer to that in the rest of this talk as cassia, because that's really the true name of this herb, or cassis. Just a fun little bit of lore is cassia is considered sacred in Chinese, and that makes sense because the cassia cassia tree is mostly harvested and grown in China, and it's actually associated with the lunar goddess Hung-O. And I don't know much about it, it's just a fun little tidbit, but I thought that was interesting when I came across that in my readings. And she's associated with fertility and longevity. And interestingly enough, the cinnamon tree is also, in lore terms, is considered to be associated with fertility. It's considered to be a good lover's tea. On the more scientific realm, cassia is really high in coumarin. Coumarin is a blood thinning compound, and it can be excellent for people with high lipid profiles, especially those with heart disease, diabetes, metabolic disease, anyone that has a poor lipid profile. And you want to be really careful with it, because this coumarin that's in this cassia cinnamon that you mostly get in the grocery stores, and if you buy cinnamon, that's what you're getting, is the cassia. That can be actually dangerous if you thin your blood too much. So you really want to be careful, especially if you're taking blood thinners, if you're eating that on a regular basis. The blood thinning properties are really good, though, if you have those, and it can even, the cassia cinnamon, as well as regular cinnamon, or Ceylon cinnamon, is considered to be excellent for diabetes. Both of them are good for fighting bacteria, viruses, anti-yeast. They have anti-yeast properties. They're really just good overall in terms of fighting infections, and that's why cinnamon is such a popular, potent herb. You've kind of got away from the regular one. If you are using cassia and consuming large quantities of this tea, I would be careful and maybe use the regular Ceylon cinnamon because of the high coumarin effects. Actually, the European Union and Germany has said there's tolerable upper limits of it, and that it can cause liver and kidney toxicity. Also, all this complex here is really great for people with problems with cleansing, and has a lot of antioxidant properties which can assist people with almost every disease has some sort of level of increased oxidation, specifically a population that's defined as having lower antioxidants capability is MCS, multiple chemical sensitivity. But I think that most people have some level of chemical sensitivity, especially due to the large number of toxins in the world. If you are someone who has that, or if you have polymorphism, I think it's of the CYP2A6, it's a cytochrome P450 gene. If you have there's certain polymorphism where you don't have as high of expression of that P450 cytochrome oxidase, and you actually will not be able to process tamarine. So you want to, if you have done a genetic test, you want to check for that and see if that's the case. Then you really want to stick with the Ceylon cinnamon, the true cinnamon. It was originally from Indonesia. If not, then you should be good with a little bit of this cinnamon. You know, this Cassia cinnamon, it's all over. It's just so cheap. I think I got a whole big thing for $2, and the other cinnamon, the Ceylon cinnamon, is much more expensive to buy, and a lot of times you have to buy it online. But the Ceylon cinnamon also has a much more wonderful taste and flavor, and you really give you that like pop, you know, that zing, that like sweetness. It's just really fantastic. Because of the blood thinning properties, if I was someone who had diabetes and heart disease, and speaking from a nutrition standpoint, I would be interested, if I had good liver and kidney function, on having this regular cassia cinnamon on a regular basis, maybe a couple times a week for about 2 months. Usually when you have something that has a toxicity, if you can have some of it for a while, if it has other beneficial effects for you, then you can taper off, combined of course with a healthy diet and exercise. Those things are always, of course, really important. And look at me, I can think, or I can do something, or I can talk. So it's hard sometimes to remember all my science and then cook at the same time. I'm usually, I love cooking so much I get in the flow, you know, so my mind is actually totally silent. So I have to, when I'm talking to you, combat that a little bit. But my original plan was to put all the little herbs in my tea thing and then put it in the pot. But it's going to be okay. We'll just kind of strain it out at the end. But I have this dandelion. This is my special formula for myself and my house, where we don't detox as well. Or we just want to detox more. Nothing wrong with that. And then I have some, normally I make this like burdock chai tea, because that's really great for, not burdock chai, burdock clove tea, because I keep a little mixture of burdock and cloves. As soon as I feel an infection coming on, I start adding that. Burdock is fantastic in terms of fighting infection.